Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to gather a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world, one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing: a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. To gain that understanding, I am mining the intersection of psychology, theology, and philosophy to make you a better writer. This is episode 134, How to Write from a Zettelkasten. I have a number of projects going on right now. In fact, this week I just added two more fairly short-range projects, things that'll be done in a couple of weeks' time. And I have a number of things going as well. So I decided that I would share with you how I keep these straight, how I keep them organized, and how I actually draw from my Zettelkasten to do the projects that I work on. First of all, one of my new projects is kind of an interesting one. I've probably mentioned a number of times that I've taught a 35-week course on YouTube called Reawaken the Dream. It's a course for writer moms or anyone who doesn't have blocks of time to write, how to be able to write effectively using only small bits of time. And I do it by teaching 28 character traits and how they can be incorporated in a story to bring the emotions of the story back to the forefront using a file card, a Zettelkasten card. It was 35 weeks, that's 2/3 of a year. So that was organized in the same way that I'll be talking about tonight. But that was then summarized into this book, Writing with Emotion, which came out in April. And this is 70 pages, a far cry from that beast. And so that was an interesting project, trying to select and read just that core material that you had to know to be able to take advantage of the ability to write with emotion, which is what you end up getting when you're done with this course. Well, it now turns out that I've been asked to write a long-form essay summarizing the book. So we're going to go from a 4-inch binder to a 70-page book to an essay. That was quite a challenge, but it was only one of a number of new projects. Another new project has to do with all of these videos that I've been doing lately on the Zettelkasten. I've been exploring numbering especially, and I want to and was asked to do a comprehensive video where I explain the numbering from start to finish and all of the options instead of these little 10, 15-minute videos that have been coming out. So that's another project. Then I have my ongoing projects. I have my physical monthly newsletter. I write one of these a month. I'm working right now on the June newsletter, which will be out in a little more than a week. So that's a project I'm working on. I have these podcasts that I record every night. That's another project that I'm working on. So there are so many different projects. The question might come up, well, what on earth do you do to organize them? Well, of course, I use my Zettelkasten. And I explained in a video in response to a question from Elizabeth, something about how I organize my cards. But I want to go back a little bit and then revisit the cards a little bit. First of all, any project that I'm going to write that's about any theme or topic, my first resource is going to be my index box, my alphabetical index box with all my keywords. I will generally have a thesis in mind because I was either asked to write about it or it has occurred to me as something that I wanted to share. So I will go right here and get my keywords. Then from there, I made little notes on these little cards where I marked down the key topics that I felt were going to be worth logging. And I use these little guides because they're small enough that I can go to my boxes and pull the relevant cards. And then when I pull the relevant cards, you will know, if you've been following these videos, that my main cards all contain a reference to the source, so I can go back to my source if I need to, or if I need to make a footnote. It has the information on that card that I gained from the author of the source, and they always have also my reaction and my thoughts. So by the time I've pulled the relevant cards from my Zettelkasten, I can read my thoughts, I can read the thoughts from the sources, and it's almost there. It is super, super close to being there, because all of these ideas become fresh in my mind very, very quickly, just the same way that when you log your thoughts in your stories on a character profile and you make your memory response card, if you followed this book, you can get back to your story idea that quickly. Well, you can get back to any idea in the Zettelkasten that quickly, in major part because you've included something of yourself on every card. Well, that's something of yourself on every card. When you've pulled several of them, you pretty much just put them in outline order and you've got your story ready to go. Well, where does it go from there? Well, from there, it goes onto a yellow legal pad. This little guy always tells me, where are my next free page, so I can just flip quickly and continue writing. And I've already explained many times that I always log where the entry gets logged in my Zettelkasten. And so from the outline, from my cards, which I can lay out on my desk that I've pulled, I can put them in outline order. Then I can write directly from the cards. And then from there, I need to assemble what I've written into the log of what I've written, so that I will be able to go have a track of what I produced and where the source is for what I produced. Now here is the wrinkle. It dawned on me just this week as I was working on setting up these new projects. These cards, I was thinking to myself, my gosh, they're an awful lot like bib cards, because they have on the back all of my writing and all of the places where my writing is present in my journals. But by golly, they look an awful lot like bib cards, where you would take notes from a book onto bib cards. Well, this week it dawned on me, they are bib cards. They're not an awful lot like bib cards. They are bib cards. How did I come to this realization? Well, 2 new projects. I wanted to file them into my Zettelkasten. Where are they going to go? Well, you can go into the theme of the story and find the right card and file them there, but they end up just being lumps because they're complete articles. These they don't have anything on the front side that is my idea to interact. My idea is in the finished good, in the finished product. They function and are in reality bib cards. They're not bib cards that grow up by reading a book and then assembling the cards. They grow up by writing and then assembling the cards. But by doing that, it suddenly dawned on me that I don't have to go find a place in my Zettelkasten where they go. They just need to get project names, reference names, exactly the way I create a reference name for a book. My initials, underscore, and the initials of the key word in the title. And then it goes not into random drawers in my Zettelkasten. It goes into my bib box under my work. And by golly, then I can have a whole section that's just my work, and it's all right there. I have no idea why this didn't occur to me sooner, but it's something that makes everything so much easier. And now everything that I do going forward, all of the work that I do is going to be contained right there in the bib box. So that is, in a nutshell, how I write from a Zettelkasten. The key thing, besides the insight that I just gained yesterday, which is a lot of fun, to me that's the sparkle of the whole thing because it's the new thing. But the core thing that's important in writing from a Zettelkasten is that every card you create, where you're drawing from a source and you've got the information from the source, always, always, always put your reaction and your thoughts on that same card, because that's how it happens that when you pull from your index and you jot little notes down from your index of which cards you're going to want to pull, when you're done assembling those out onto your desktop in outline form, you've got the thing that you wanted to produce. And that, in a nutshell, is why they say that a Zettelkasten makes you a writing machine. It only works if you always, always, always put some of yourself on every main card you add to your Zettelkasten. So that's my story for tonight. Thank you. Good night.